Welcome to the Tiny House Ideas podcast. Welcome to episode 6 of the Tiny House Ideas podcast. Today's another really exciting episode and we're going to be discussing business, entrepreneurship and things like that. So we're joined by someone called Jessen James. If you haven't heard of Jessen, he's a serial entrepreneur, he's a business owner and he's a motivational speaker. I came across Jessen, I was watching TV one afternoon, I saw a program called Rich House, Poor House, and I was really hooked by Jessen's drive, by his mentality, by his story as well. So we're going to be discussing how he has made it in the business area, and also we're going to be discussing actionable tips for you and ways that you can sort of look to turn your passion into a career, and the benefits of working for yourself, the benefits of setting your own hours and being your own boss. So keep listening to hear the chat that I had with Jessen and the importance of starting a business, the importance of health and wellness, and how you can apply that to your own life. Welcome to the Tiny House Ideas podcast, the show where we talk about how to live a more fulfilling life with less. My name's Harry Alvarez Garman and I've got tons of exciting guests lined up for you, including authors, entrepreneurs and tiny house owners. If you love minimalism, sustainable living, personal development and everything in between, then you're in the right place. On this show we'll be talking about how you can do more of what you love, how to turn your passion into a career and how to live more sustainably. Okay, so pleasure to have you on the show. If you'd like to start by just having a quick introduction to yourself and then we can get going.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate this. And first of all, it's amazing what you're doing, reaching out and adding value to people. And it's especially inspiring for me to watch, like the younger generation just come up and, really get into entrepreneurship. So hats off to you, mate. But thanks for having me on. For those of you who don't know who I am, gosh, like my story, I could go on all day about my story, but in a nutshell, I'm a kid who grew up in a rough part of East London with two choices: do drugs and be in gangs, or listen to some incredible parents and teachers. And fortunately, I decided to listen to my teachers and my parents. And it was a difficult time because growing up in school, and any school really, not just back then, but in any school, like if you have dreams, aspirations, and you want to be your own boss, or you want to get into entrepreneurship, or you want to start something, it's not something that's supported by the mainstream system. It's like we're all forced into learning, right? And following this career or whatever it might be. So, but for me, I was always fascinated by entrepreneurship. I think my earliest memory of selling stuff is probably, I think it was around 11 years old. I went on to study at university. I actually, for those of you who don't know, I trained as a mental health nurse. That's my background. I'm a psychiatric nurse by trade. Just before I went into work, I thought I was 24 years old. I just qualified as a nurse. I thought, I'm going to try this business thing before I go into the big bad world of work. And I launched a business and it failed miserably. I lost 65 grand in 3 months, which was awful. My dad told me it takes a special kind of stupid to lose that kind of money. It was awful. It was a horrible time. It wasn't good. And I basically retracted to what everybody else would do in that situation. And that is to go with the mainstream and get a job, which I did. Yeah. And I worked with the private sector as a nurse. I didn't work for the NHS. I trained with the NHS. I did a few placements with the NHS. I didn't work for them. I worked for the private sector. Private sector is the business. It's not like the NHS. It's a business. Exactly. So I climbed the ranks really quickly. I became the youngest ward manager in the UK at the age of 27.
Wow.
It was really cool. I was like, good money. I was like 50K bonuses, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I thought I was living the dream. And And I made my employer like £6.5 million in 2 years, selling beds to the NHS.
Yeah.
And then in 2008, 2009, we went through the recession. And then in July 2009, my employer told me that they don't need me there anymore. So I don't know if any of your listeners can relate. But to being stabbed in the back, like being turned on, like giving your all to someone or something. And, and that's how I felt because, I literally poured my life and soul into that organization. Yeah. And I was disposable, put it that way. So that was it. And I was at a crossroads and I didn't know, should I get another job? Should I go back into business? And I didn't know what to do because business failed, job failed. Like I was up in the air. So I decided, one thing I did learn, which was an important lesson, perhaps your listeners can take away, is nothing in life is secure unless you secure it yourself. I suppose, anyone listening right now, I suppose like if you want to launch your own business, start your own thing, get your business going or whatever, like first of all, sit down and really sound check yourself as to, are you ready? Like, do you really, really want to do this? Or are you just saying it because you're not happy? Some people are happy in their job. Like, don't fight it. If you're happy with a job, stay in a job, man. Like honestly, we can't make everyone into entrepreneurs, otherwise we had no one working. But if you're happy, then make sure you find conditions of employment that make you happy. Are you valued at work? Are you respected at work? Is it a fun place to work for? Is it like, are you getting paid what you're worth? Are you respected? Like, make sure it's a nice environment to work in, right? So if you're not happy and you want to start your own business, then like be super clear on the reasons why you're doing it. Like, why do you even want to do this in the first place? Who you're doing it for? And a lot of people they have this kind of I don't know, they feel compelled to say that they're doing it to make the world a better place, to help other people, look, just cut the crap. Why are you really doing it right now? Well, I want to make some money. Fine. Over the next 12 months, make your why you. Be selfish. That's absolutely fine. For the next 12 months, if you're going to start a business, make it all about you. Why? Because without you, you can't help anybody else. So just focus on yourself. What's the reason why? And then start mapping out what it is that you want to do. Like, what would you, and I always say to people, because a lot of, like, you've probably been through this before yourself, like you have an idea and all these little limiting beliefs come up and all these, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Or maybe I always say to people, like, if I could just wave a magic wand right now, what would you be doing? Like, no money's not an issue, self-belief, confidence, throw that out the window for a minute. What would you be doing? And people go like, oh, I'd like to be a speaker, or I'd like to be a coach, or I'd like to have my own shop, or I'd like to have this and that. And like, great. Now, and then I get them to like really amplify that image and go like, well, okay, what does that look like? All that kind of stuff. How do you feel now you've got it? Blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And then they feel amazing about it. And then we reverse engineer the process. So I'd urge everybody to start with the end in mind. What is it that you want to do? What does it look like? And then reverse engineer that process. Like, otherwise what happens is you try to think in a logical fashion, right? I want to start my business. So I need to do that first, then that, then that. And every time you do that, you're hitting more resistance, more limiting beliefs, more issues. So if I make you dream a little bit, it makes your brain actually go, whoa, actually it's possible. And with the brain, possibility is like water looking for a crack. The minute it finds that crack, it's going to seep through. So if there's possibility in your brain, is it possible? Then your brain starts to look at how it can make it happen, you know. But if you start at the beginning, it makes it feel like it's impossible, which is why most people give up, you know. So, but yeah, I suppose that's kind of where I kind of advise people, if they're getting off the ground, to go and do that. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's so many people right now who've got opportunities. There's so many opportunities out there right now: business, entrepreneurship, property, the internet. I mean, look at internet usage, for God's sake, like it's cranked up. People are using the internet more, you know, so you've got an opportunity to get online, whether you want to start an e-commerce store, you want to do this, you want to do that. Like, there's so many things. Like, I'm like, you know, I just think there's so many opportunities out there. We're living in an abundant world, but we're conditioned by media to think small and think scarcity and think lack. Like, look, we live in a world where if they wanted to, they could print more money tomorrow. Like, print it. And you're telling me that we will run out of money. This world is never going to run out of money. It's not going to happen. So stop thinking about lack and start focusing on abundance, and great things will happen for you, man.
I love it. I think that's an amazing sort of way to wrap it all up. And the things you were saying about sort of how you can provide value and sort of make sure you're sort of doing something that's worth it for you, doing something that does it for you, I guess. I mean, if you're happy working in a job and you've got the fulfillment you want, then amazing. That is the important thing. You're not sort of doing this to say you're doing it or to say that you can do it. It's about sort of being happy. And like we say, sort of going back to everything, it's about being happy inside with what you're doing and finding ways and sort of processes to make that a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. I have friends who are absolutely happy in their job. Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
Exactly.
And that's absolutely,
they're winning.
They're winning. Yeah. It doesn't make me better than you. Like literally, it doesn't make me better than you. Like, people think that if you're, you know, like it's bad. I think the media, especially in my industry, in like business and stuff and things like that, you know, people make like entrepreneurship the be all and end all, and they make employment out to be the demon. Well, if you're a true entrepreneur, you become an employer. Does that mean you're part of that demonized world? Like, they don't think about that. Yeah. So you're telling everybody else employment's crap, but yet you want good employees. Like, listen to what you're saying.
Exactly. Employment's crap, but come and work for me.
Exactly.
That's the thing. That is the thing.
It's nuts. So be respectful is what I say. But like I said, everything. Last thing I'll say to your listeners is this: every single thing that you're doing right now, like just strive for happiness in your relationships, in your health, in your work, in your money, like whatever, like in your happiness, like your fun, every area of your life. Like just be happy, because tomorrow's promised to no one, man. Like I don't know what's going on, like in this world. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow, but every single moment we spend, like every minute we spend being down and sad, we're stealing 60 seconds of happiness from our lives, and you can't get that time back.
That's the thing you can sort of have. But I just wanted to give you a massive thank you for coming on and having a chat. I think we've given some really sort of good, insightful tips and some actionable advice for the people that are listening to sort of go on, and now they've been in quarantine, but now they can sort of look to come out of it a better person and look to sort of pursue their dreams.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on, and thank you for giving this platform, for other people to tap into, and for free as well.
Thank you very much.
It's a great thing you're doing. So well done to you as well, my man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
To listen to the full episode of the Tiny House Ideas podcast, head to your favorite podcast streaming platform. It's available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts. And alternatively, if you'd rather watch the full episode as a video, so the full conversation in a video format, that's only available on Patreon.